of all, some practical information. Welcome everyone, and for those who are new to our community, you are joining one of the online events from the L&D Shakers, and L&D Shakers is a worldwide community which started approximately 5 years ago from the idea of 5 people who were based in Amsterdam, and idea was such a great that it's expanded over the globe, and currently we have more than 9,000 people in the community. It's for free, and this is the community where everyone contribute, where everyone has space to learn, to exchange, to share, to have some fun, to co-create. So welcome everyone, and very nice to see you here. Backstage is one of the online formats we have at L&D Shakers. It's the space where we invite L&D experts who share their lessons learned in the companies to other L&D peers. So my name is Valeria Forostanova, and I will be your co-host for today. And I'm very happy, by the way, this is our final backstage session of this year, so you are the lucky one to join it today. And besides that, I'm also very happy to share this session with my former colleague, a friend of mine, Anna Panina, who has more than 17 years of experience. And I think Anna is a perfect speaker for the session today, who can combine and share her experience of how is it to be a strategic L&D partner for the business, because she combines experience from L&D, from HR, from recruitment, from the business point of view. And I hope you will find something very useful for yourself today. Feel free to share your questions in the chat, and we will also pause throughout the session so we can reflect, check, and ask Anna questions. Anna, no more delays. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Valeria. Thanks everyone for joining. Especially in Europe, it's dinner time almost, so especially, and some people are in the bus, much appreciated. I hope you won't be frustrated. So as far as I understood from the comments, from the answers to the question we asked you, you know a lot. I thought, what am I going to share with the guys? But I think my idea is to share my experience, and I would like you to share your experience, because that's the way how L&D Shakers learn from each other. Let me share my screen. Give me a second to start. Valeria, can you see my screen? Yeah, good. So today I have a goal, and I was thinking about what I can do for people who know a lot, who are working in L&D arena. And I defined a couple of goals for me. It's first of all to create the environment to exchange the experience. I'm going to share my experience, and I encourage you to also share your best practices. To inspire you and to encourage, try something new. If some of the tools I'm going to share will resonate with you, you think it might work for the organization you work now or for future. The agenda is very simple. We start with why we need L&D people need to be strategic partners for the business. Then I will share a couple of really working tools that I was blessed to use in my career, and then some principles, some my tip and tricks, how you can be very close to the business. On this slide, you can see a little bit more. I'm going to give me a second. Yeah. I just made the pictures a little bit smaller. So you can see quite a detailed slide about my career, and it's on purpose. As Valeria mentioned, just to give you the flavor why I think I can speak about this. So all my life I have been evolving in HR. And I have been playing different roles. I was blessed to work both in developing markets in Russia and CIS, and also then 8 years ago I moved to the Netherlands. And I started experiencing work in different environment. So why is it all here? Because I would like to share my feelings about my career. Like, okay, after the recruitment is one of the entrance to the function, to the profession. I became HR business partner. Of course, first time HR business partner, it was a lot of excitement, like trying to do your best. And of course I did. And then in several years, I moved to L&D manager role. Back then, I didn't have so much like professional academic knowledge in this area. That's why I leaned a lot on what I knew from my previous work. So while delivering the trainings, I was given a lot of examples from my working with the employees, with the managers, when I was solving some different difficult questions. Then, after I worked in L&D, I moved again to HR business partner role. It was already for different function for me, for commercial function. And then I thought, how could I be a good HR business partner before without everything that I learned at L&D role, like facilitation skill, coaching skills, facilitating team sessions. So every time I see that every role add additional bricks to my experience. You can also see like on the below the functions that the majority of my career I worked in FMCG. It was one actually company, and now I moved to the automotive. And I see, I don't know about your experience, but I see it's a really good idea for HR professional, for L&D person to try different culture, because it's really enriching your experience. And guess what? I have been delivering trainings through all my career. Like when I became a recruiter, I realized, okay, I'm not going to bring a lot of good candidates while our managers cannot do good interviews. So I educated them. I taught them how to do interviews, and that was this nice activity that I really like. Was working with me through all my career. And some years ago, I also I learned coaching. I had a year coaching program, and I am certified ICF coach. And I think this also shaped my professional motto. You can see below, everyone has a potential, but no one has the right to waste it. And that's actually, this motto I'm trying to live and deliver through all my roles in HR. Let's start speaking about, so enough about me. Let's speak about L&D role, and the name, the title of the webinar was about L&D and business, how to build partnership together. And those who have been working long in HR department, people department, can see the evolution of the whole function, like when we moved from administrative tasks to more partnership, strategic partners roles. But L&D is also evolving significantly, especially now. You know better than me how AI disruption is influencing that, and it means that HR and L&D has to develop very quickly. The world is changing faster than the traditional learning can keep up. Yeah, something that we knew, like, I don't know, 3-5 years ago, it's completely reviewed. There are new theories about many different topics, and we really need to stay on toes to grow and to help the organization grows. So you can see on the right, I'm not going to read everything. So the main things is many organizations, especially in the times of crisis, they are thinking and they are trying to be very lean. The productivity agenda is very high on the list. Efficiency, growing efficiency. We also see how employees are overloaded, disengaged. We really need to find new ways how to conquer their hearts. And competitiveness now really depends on organizational agility. Yeah, the organizations who have better capabilities, more skilled employees, employees who are ready to grasp their new challenges will be thriving. And I would like today to speak about a couple of tools. I'm sure you might know about them, but still I will ask you. Can I ask you to put, I don't know, plus in the chat for those of you who have been involved into the working with strategic workforce planning? Minus. Okay, Valeria, thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Strategic workforce planning. If you have ever experienced creating, co-creating, do you know what it is? Like strategic workforce planning, SVP. Minus. I have not. Okay. Workforce planning, like a succession planning or upskilling career. Succession planning and upskilling career can be at the part. Leadership development can be also the part. Indirectly, okay. Okay, so Chris and Adam, okay. Chris and Adam, once I will share my Alona. Okay, great. So we have some people who know what it is, some people who were involved, but many people not. Great. Then I hope I will tell you something interesting today. Strategic workforce planning. So actually, when we do strategic workforce planning, we identify future skills needs. Sometimes we also need to cover the current ones, but actually it's about future skills by analyzing strategy, market trends, workforce data. And why? Because then we can define the learning investments that will allow us to close the skill gap and impact the performance. On the right side, you can see these 4 steps. They can look very like simple, but it's really, believe me, it's not. The first point is analyze the strategy. Understand what business is trying to achieve, what's happening on the market, what's happening with our competitors, what's happening with the labor market. Do we have, can we find easily people on the market, or are we going to build the capability inside of the organization? So we need to analyze the strategy. The next one is, of course, first we understand where we would like to go and where we are now. We see where the gap is, and actually we make a plan. But once we make a plan, we finalize it. It's not that. Then we need to track how we are going, and ideally, especially with this speed of changes, we really need to do it quite on a regular basis. I would say on the quarterly basis, to understand how we are going, if we need to adjust something or not. It looks quite easy, but when we were doing it, I was involved in strategic workforce planning for the Benelux commercial departments. It's actually a job of a lot of people, and it's a great example of cross-functional collaboration. TA function was doing a lot to understand what's happening on the market. Talent management team was involved to understand what's happening with our internal employees. And of course, our business was very much involved when we were speaking to them about what are they trying to achieve, what must-win battles they are going to fight. And this is also why I'm speaking about strategic workforce planning, because it's actually a great opportunity to speak and to be very close with the business. So even if you have never done it, on the next slide, I prepared some I don't know, some small guide how you can start doing, if you are not doing it like big, fancy with a lot of cross-functional teams. You can do it a smaller way, but already you can earn a lot of trust from your business leaders you are working with. The first one, and I would like to walk through this one. The first one, you take your business leader and you ask him the question, her, what's the strategic objective the team aims to achieve within the next 3-5 years? I don't know what is your horizon to define the strategy. Imagine, and this is the real example from my past, is plus 30% net revenue growth. We say, okay, very good goal. Of course, it's, I don't know, maybe it's your place to challenge this goal or not. Probably it should be decided at the leadership level. We say, great. Then the next question, which strategic priorities will drive this growth? Yeah. What are you going to accelerate? What you are going to unlock? And which markets you are going to win? With me, for example, one of the department I was working with, it was away from home. And they wanted the growth, significant growth, and they asked, what or where are the resource of this growth? How are you going to grow? And they told me, okay, we need to open to work with new customers, with new HoReCa customers. We need to open new opportunities for us there. Great. Then the next one, which factors are currently limiting your growth? And here we look at the internal and external challenges. It can be demographic shift. It can be some evolution of the market. Something's happening with the competition within the organization. It can be a low engagement level, or we might have some issues with the retention top talents. We all need to understand what's stopping our growth. The other role, so ideally we also define if the organizations are big. That's why I was asking you the size of the organization. Usually you define some functions that can bring that are vital for your organization at the moment. It can be revenue management, it can be sales, it can be digital, whatsoever. Ideally, you define some focuses where you would like to invest most of your time and your energy. And then when you define, okay, it's revenue management, it's sales, which positions are expected to deliver the highest impact? Yeah, usually it's some senior roles, though sometimes expert roles can be also vital for the organization, but usually it's the senior roles. And then we need to understand, okay, if the senior sales manager is the critical role for our organization, what kind of person do we have now? Is it high potential? Because ideally we would like to have a high potential person to drive the business, right? Or we also have a look at the succession bench. Do we have really strong candidates there? Do we have short-term readiness candidates? And what kind of quality of the talents we have in the organization now? The next one, we also look at capabilities. Which core capabilities are essential to accelerate the performance? So it's literally which skills will drive the growth of the organization or will help the organization to achieve the goals. Advanced negotiation skills, strategic thinking, a proficiency. So it can be whatsoever, right? You can, of course, at this moment, I think it's also good to bring some external trends, what's happening in the industry, and also what's happening inside where we are now. The next one, okay, we understand which capabilities we would like to grow in the organization. Which internal and external development programs can be leveraged? Do we have already the programs to grow the capability? Do we need to go external and buy some assessment, buy some capability program? Do we have the capability inside to build this program? You can see online learning programs, industry conferences, some internal toolkits, or some short-term project assignments for our key talents, maybe. Then we think about, of course, hard skills, functional capabilities are very important, but we also understand that leadership skills, soft skills can also be vital. And then we see what leadership development channels can support the growth. It's about different talent development programs. We have also good experience about reverse mentorship initiative for one of the team. It can be mastermind groups, whatsoever, to drive the collaboration, strategic thinking, leadership, growth of your talents. The other couple of moments is talent management. If we decide, you probably know about build, buy, borrow strategy. Build strategy, if we prioritize internal development, how do we retain engaged top talents? And ideally, we have, you mentioned in the chat before, it's about succession benches. Yes, we create succession benches. We do regular talent reviews. We create individual development plans. And if we need, we do some coaching assignments for our top talents. If we choose buy strategy, if we choose to acquire talent externally, how do we attract and select the best candidates? What programs we need to launch to attract best candidates, and how can we ensure that they fit to our requirements? And org design is about like what structure will enable a healthy and efficient value chain. How does our org design support the career growth of the people? Don't we have a bottleneck that stops the growth and we cannot grow the talents internally? So once I was using this template with my leaders, guys, the level of respect, the level of gratitude was very high, because, okay, these people would like to know what's happening with my team, what's happening with my business. They are very open to work with me. I'm a huge fan of strategic workforce planning. Again, if it's a big organization, if one more thing, to do this work very well, of course, you need good data. I know it's not always the case, but we were really blessed to have very good data in the organization, very different data, internal and about our employees, some external leadership assessment. So it was very helpful. And once you make this kind of, you ask these questions, you make the plan, and it stops also from managers to come to you in the middle of the year saying, we need, I don't know, presentation skills training, right? No, probably we don't know. Let's have a look at our plan, because we know which capabilities we need to grow in the organization, and let's kind of stick to the plans and try to achieve what we aligned with you. I think once we do this exercise, it also helps a lot for you to understand and to be proud for your achievements, because at the end of the year, you can assess what you have done, and also for the business to value what you have done. I will pause here. I think I saw there were some questions in the chat. And
we had a question, Anna, asking if the slides will be shared.
I think I'm fine to share the slides. There is no secret here. Yes. Must win battles, MWB. Yeah, it's actually kind of the projects that can support their achieving the goals. Okay, must win battles. Thank you. Okay. Guys, this is what I wanted to tell you about strategic workforce planning. You can speak for weeks, and it's really a big job of, I know, like now from time to time in LinkedIn, I also see like different templates, different questions. So it's kind of a good topic. I think it's in trend, and I would encourage you to explore a little bit more if that's you think that might be useful for you. I see this is fantastic, super relevant, timely for me right now. Good, Vanessa, glad to hear you. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this. It's helpful. It brings the trust between you and leaders, and it helps you to have a very structured approach in kind of supporting and being strategic partners to your leaders. Do we have any other questions? How long does this entire exercise take approximately? Okay. Well, Vanessa, it depends. It depends on how big do you want your scope to be? Because, for example, when I was doing this exercise, it was about it was not a big organization, but you really need to have a good data. Again, if you have data, it's easier. How deep you would like, because at the beginning, of course, you need a very good input to create to build a good conversation, like, okay, what is happening on the external market, internal market. It depends. I would say like 3 months, something like this. But it's a lot of work from cross-functional teams. You are one person for everything. Okay, so on the one hand, it will be easier for you because you don't need to align with other people. But in any case, you need to speak to the business. You need some time to understand what's happening on the market, to have some data about, I don't know, the competition, the market, what's happening with the labor. So in some sense, it will be easy. In some sense, it will be more difficult. When you did this, were you in L&D, HR, or both? I was HR business partner at this moment, but we were working very close with L&D, and I think it's actually it's a very valid question, because if all companies different, right? And sometimes it's it might be looking like it's people business partnering role. But if you're an L&D person, and I don't know, people business partner is not very supporting, no one stops you from coming still to the leaders who have some problems and trying to kind of have this valid conversation. Maybe you won't go so deep, but the structure is like this, trying to understand the goals, the project, the must-win battles, the challenges, the roles, like, and capabilities. I would say like this, yeah.
Anna, we also have a raised hand from Anna Maria.
Sure, because I don't see it, Valeria. Yeah, let's do that. Anna Maria?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, hi. I'm on the go, so I hope it's not too much noise. So Anna, I'm on the opposite side of the one-person team. We have quite a privileged and yet complex structure when it comes to the supporting people functions for the business. I'm part of the so-called core learning and development team, the global team. We have colleagues in the same team that are our learning business partners. They're embedded into the different functions. And then we also have our HR business partners that are supporting the efficiency of our teams and the teams basically, and the team leads. And to add on top of that, we also have functional academies. They're doing the vertical learning. So the learning that deals with a specific function, whereas the global L&D team that I'm part of does leadership and soft skills across the board. So we kind of have 4 main responsible teams for the success of our teams. And the question is, who should collect this? And also, oh, am I back? Yeah, sorry. My phone is dying. Who should collect this data? But I think more importantly, I'm interested to know, what is the process of dividing the responsibilities? Like, what do we do with the data that we collect afterwards? If you've been in that position before, or if any other people in the call are in that position before, how do you decide what is the HR business partner, the L&D business partner, the core teams function, and how do we all then work cohesively throughout the year to deliver on the expectation that the business has? Because sometimes I feel like for the business, they're like, this is L&D and HR, and that's it. They don't care how we're structured, but we do care how we're structured on our side. So I wonder if you have any thoughts there on what happens after we collect the data and how do we collaborate best?
Thanks for the question. Yeah, Anna Maria, just to clarify, your question, is it about doing this project strategic focus planning already with the plans when you have it?
Correct. So what happens after? What do you do with this data and how do you translate it into action? And how do you basically collaborate with other functions to deliver on this? And also, whose responsibility is this? Is this driven by HR? Is this driven by L&D? Is it both? I don't know.
So I will share what was working for us, but I can also imagine it might really depend on the structure of the organization. As people business partner or HR director, they are small CPO of the function, I would say, and sometimes it depends, again, it's very much depends on the org design of the organization. I see it as HR business partnering department is owning it, yeah, or having the sponsor maybe, because actually where it starts, everything starts. It starts also with speaking to business, speaking to leaders, and that's actually like in many cases it's HRBP role, yeah. But then we engage with those functions who have the capabilities and the experience in that, like talent acquisition was gathering the data from the market, yeah. And this, why we need this data, because we were transferring this data into the conclusions. They were bringing us some data from the market, and we could make like business challenges, like we saw what's happening on the market, right? Then capabilities, core capabilities. Again, it's very much dependent on the size of the organization, of the org design of the organization. It could be sometimes functional capability departments. Sometimes it lies within the function. So everyone who has this knowledge, expertise, they can contribute. Yeah, and it's really work like cross-functional, very close collaboration of the functions. And again, with the plan, when you create a plan, we have the people who like, there are the topics that are supported by talent management, by learning development teams, and everyone is kind of contributing, and we measure the results, and we track their plan like all together. I hope I answered.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Anna, we
Vanessa.
have additional question.
Yeah, I see it. One more question. In your experience, what would be an effective way of measuring current skills to then understand the gaps? Well, it's a very good question. I think on the one hand, we can start with the current performance and see where the pain is. So the main idea is, what are we trying to fix? What pain do we have, right? Then, of course, it could be assessments. Starting maybe self-assessments. Again, depends a lot on the size of the organization, size of the team. Assessments, self-assessments, internal assessments, external assessments connected with the performance. That comes to my mind. Dear colleagues, feel free to jump here, because if maybe some other tools you can also share with Vanessa. Where I worked, we had external assessment, leadership assessment, leadership skills assessment. So we had in the organization the leadership competence model, and specific levels of employees, like they used to have an assessment. Sometimes we also did with candidates. So this was the way for us to do the leadership assessment with external organization, and it worked quite well, by the way. Yeah. So data, I would say, for the strategic workforce planning, data is the key.
Yeah, thanks. No, that's helpful. The thing is that assessments often, people get nervous because they think like they themselves are being assessed.
Yeah, but I think the communication, Vanessa, communication here, because probably if you say, guys, we don't have any aim to fire people, we would like to understand where we stand and how we can grow. And if you do that, and if you stick to this, because once, for example, it was a long time ago, 2011, that happened. So it was HR department. I only took my role like 7 months of HR business partnering, and they did an assessment. And it was true. They fired no one. It was really for the assessing where we stand and how we can grow. We believed it worked, so it was fine. Yeah, the question in communication, I think.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have other questions about strategic workforce planning, or we can move further? I take silence as we can move further, but there will be an opportunity to ask questions later on also, guys. So the next tool I would like to share, and it's also, I'm very proud of what we have been doing. It's about engaging business leaders as champions of soft skills training. That was at the moment when the organization was quite big. We had 20,000 employees in the country, and we, at some point of time, we realized we have a small team of trainers, L&D trainers, and we decided to engage with the business leaders, and they actually played a crucial role in facilitating soft skills trainings, guys. It's not about functional, not about hard skills, but soft skills. Why? Because they demonstrate the right behavior. Yeah. And then the employees strongly believes that this is relevant and I'm going to do that. It boosts engagement a lot. Yeah. Then when employees see the engagement of the business leader, it creates better accountability from their side, a commitment to learn and to incorporate that. And of course, you can see much better results. How did it look? We had a program It was called In Nurturing Others, I Nurture My Own Growth, and it was complete true. So we created a community of approximately 100 non-HR business leaders. It was people from absolutely different function, from manufacturing, supply chain. It was from sales functions, commercialization, productivity. And we delivered, so we had soft skills trainings. It was Frontline Manager Academy, First Time Manager, it was Coaching Manager, Feedback, and other programs. And we deliver Train the Trainer programs, facilitation skills. And we also organize a conference where we invited some external speakers to speak about learning and development and facilitation skills. So that was very successful conference for us. And all the soft skills programs, 95% of the programs, because it was also like the team was traveling all over Russia and CIS, it was quite a big territory, was co-facilitated by a dual trainer model pairing HR and business representative, ensuring that theory meets the practice. So, and what was happening when usually, like, I don't know, maybe it's changing a little bit, but quite often L&D person, quite young, who hasn't experience in business yet. Sometimes people don't have managerial experience, and you can expect some skepsis from people who work on the factory, in the warehouse, when they hear some, I don't know, nice theory, and they say, no, it's not going to work. The theory doesn't have anything to do with what's happening here on the warehouse. But then when we have a pair of the L&D person and the business leader, this is completely different story, because you speak like I was working a lot with these leaders, and you say something about like how the theory works, and then immediately your business trainer supports it, how it's working in fact in his factory or in the fields. And it increased a lot trust in learning and development initiatives. We had much higher engagement satisfaction levels. And the other, I would mention a positive soft influence on corporate culture, because even if people, business leaders, didn't completely at the beginning, were not completely fans of, I don't know, coaching, of some tools, then when you preach, you also become adopter of this theory, of this tool. Like we know that, I don't know, 30% of the information we remember when we hear something, 50% of the information when we see something, and 90% of the information when we teach. So then we notice a very nice influence of this, of delivering these trainings on nurturing the growth of our business leaders. So this was the program. Again, why I'm speaking about it, because it's actually, it was a very nice tool to build very good collaboration and trust between functions and L&D, because that was, we were speaking about the things that really work, and that we knew what we were speaking about. I saw some, I think there was something in the chat. Okay, that was the answer for the previous question. I think, guys, maybe you have learned. I see 3 hearts. Thanks a lot, Alena, for sharing. Guys, any questions about this engaging with business leaders into delivering soft skills trainings?
I see we have a question from Andre.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I was involved in something similar, and I was really curious. How did you incentivize this for those business leaders? Because in a way, for L&D trainers, it's clear that this is part of their role. But did you have some kind of career incentive for those, or did you have, I don't know, budget? Did you have exposure? What did you use to get people really engaged to essentially co-facilitate this program?
Very good question. And now I think I was caught up, but I think I understand what's happening. We didn't promise people anything extra. So I think the beauty, of course, we did this conference when they could grow, and that was voluntarily. So we asked people who would like to do that. And I think being engaged into this program and sharing their experience was very rewarding. And it was like the level of the employees, it was like the plant manager, the person who is fully responsible for the plant. So it was the level that they didn't, it felt that they didn't need the special incentive. They like doing this, and we didn't, to be very honest, we didn't do anything on purpose, like extra. But it's a very good question. Yeah. Because we are creating some buddy program now in the organization. For that level, I'm thinking about how to do some incentives. We were also doing, it was the same principle, but we created also career ambassadors. It was the same kind of principle. We involved people. We asked, do you want to work with us on improving career agenda in the organization? They told yes. And then we were working together, and after like several months, the people were coming because we were having a lot of discussions when we could do better, and they told us, you know what, I learned so much from you for this month. So I think people really enjoy doing these things because they see that they could grow. Yes. Other questions about engaging? Now, for example, I work in a much smaller organization, but we are also thinking about creating capability agenda for the next year for the function. And my plan, and I also aligned it with the business leader, my plan also to engage the champions from the business who might help us, because they will tell us what's exactly relevant for the growth of the people, what exactly we need to help to evolve in the organization. I really like this approach to engage with people on any topics to make something relevant and actual. Yeah. Valeria, I don't see if there are any hands.
No, no hands, but I also have a question. Anna, have you experienced any hiccups or any watch out for the future that you can share with us, or any lessons learned, something that didn't work the way you expected it?
With you mean with this community of trainers? Well, of course, they are business leaders, and of course, you need to ensure that they commit to it. Ideally, they also write it down somewhere in their goals for the year, because then it's not that everyone who started they were very much engaged. Yeah, so to ensure they commit to do that, then. We had a lot of very interesting conversations about, because we had the program that were already ready. Yeah, we need to deliver the trainings, and quite often the business leaders we didn't agree with some tools or some philosophical aspects. So at some point of time, you need to really kind of convince them that yes, that's working. So, but I rather see it as an opportunity, yeah, to build very good relationship. So I don't remember any other big hiccups. Yeah? But thanks for asking.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, let's move on if I don't see any other questions. Actually, I would like to give you one more example that I think worked very well. But before, I will share kind of my tips and tricks. I'm trying to move to the next slide. What has been working for me throughout my career, how to be really very close to the business, and to build a good reputation of your department, of your function. The first one is consultative discovery. So I would encourage you to go deeper. Sometimes the leaders can give us, oh, I need time management training. And I would encourage you to go deeper and try to understand what's behind, because time management, we can imagine that It could be the problem of roles and responsibilities. It could be the real overload, but it could be time management that they don't know skills. So go beyond surface level request, conduct good diagnostic, and try to understand what problem we are trying to solve. Then contextual expertise, and some of you already gave this answer to the question: be closer to the business, go to the frontline employees, the main idea is to ensure that the solutions are relevant, speak more to people. So, and I think one of the reasons why I showed about my career, that it was HR business partner, L&D, HR business partnering, capability building. If you have such opportunity, I would definitely encourage you, and if you know in L&D, I would encourage you to go and develop horizontally, because then you will be very close to the business. I absolutely am a huge fan of L&D, but I also like my job of people business partnering, and I think it's really great, can be great friendship of skills in both functions and can enrich your experience. Holistic design, we know that once we have training or read a book, nothing is going to happen, or very rarely nothing happens. Try to create the ecosystem. It's self-learning, group learning, peer learning, webinars together, inviting some inspirational leaders. So try to make ecosystem around some topic, around some capability, to ensure that people at some point of time, they have no chance not to use what they have learned. Thought leadership, this is about being a trusted advisor. So probably you know about learning ladder. The first step in the learning ladder is subconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. And sometimes leader can come and say, give me the training. And you say, yes, maybe I will give you the training, but try to, like I can tell you that there are other things than training. There are other ways how people can grow their capability. Yeah. On the next slide, I will show you one of the example of that. And the last one is try to make links. I know it might be quite difficult, but still there is some opportunity to make the links between what we are teaching, how we are developing the employees, and what KPIs are improving. And my last slide for today. So at some point of time in the organization, we launched LMS platform, learning management platform. It's we called it Netflix for learning. It's an online huge library of internal and external resources. And it was like people could like some articles, videos, they could share, they could comment, so they really could use it as a social media, but around like for the organization and based on the learning. And the leader of the demand planning came to us saying, can you give me some recommendations, which trainings my team can have? And say, okay, of course we can search and give you some names of the training, but let's have a good conversation. And then we asked, what are you trying to achieve? And the result of these conversations, we came up not only with the names of the trainings that they have on the platform, but we created together the learning journey for the function, how they can develop. So we defined, like you can see here on the slide, cross-functional collaboration, advanced analytics, Lean, Excel, what skills they need to grow. And then we defined how they're going to grow. And it was, you see, webinar, some survey to the stakeholders. By the way, it was also maybe for Vanessa, how we can assess the skills. The feedback from the stakeholders can be a good tool. Then it was group learning. It was individual learning, peer learning. For this team, because it was in Turkey, we also organized the webinar and we invited some inspirational leader from the organization, because we know that hierarchy is important and this might work very well. So that's my kind of tip for you, is not only like, okay, we are going to give you training, but see broader. Of course, it takes a little bit more time. It takes more investment from the team, from our side, but I think the impact was much better than people just had some courses. I think that's all from me. Any questions here, guys? I don't see any questions. Something's coming. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Vanessa. Valeria, do we have an opportunity to create breakout rooms?
And actually, we do have questions. I think the first one was, I don't see the full name, so it's Neves. So apologies if I...
Yes, it's
hello.
me.
Hello.
Hi. I had a question around, maybe you're going to answer it later, around the measurement. Did you, in the end of this initiative, did you measure the impact of the initiative? Where did you, and how did you do it? I know that you mentioned some KPIs.
Which initiative?
Well, the whole, you know, this when you apply this second tool that you showed us.
Engage in the leaders into the training. We after each training we had their assessment form. And that was the first one, but I can imagine that L&D, the soft skills that are difficult to measure, but we also had like manager quality assessments. We have 360 assessments. So we took different tools we were using, like the assessment after the training and also the other assessments. Yeah. But it's a very good question because we understand that measuring the result can be a little bit challenging. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have another hand raised from Philip.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I was gonna ask about the impact assessment as well, but to further the question that was asked, you commented, yeah, there was some sort of assessment tools around it. Can you maybe give us a bit more example, a concrete example of one case study of how you actually did it and what was the outcome of that assessment, in the sense that, you know, measuring behavioral change are often quite difficult and challenging.
Which assessment do you mean, Philip?
You just mentioned that you had different 60 assessment tools after training. It was just a comment that you mentioned just
okay. So
in the previous question.
It was the assessment form after the training.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I can also share one very nice practice that we were using, for example, coach and manager program. It was a 2 days training, and then we came back for the half of the day in 6 months. And then that was really insightful because for this 6 months, we kind of refreshed some basics and that's what's working, what's not working. And say, oh, yeah, that was so good training. Why didn't I use it? And others say, oh, I use these coach's skills. I have these results. So that I think coming back and maybe like it's to the question of the ecosystem, trying to create the opportunities because we know it's so, especially with the soft skills, people have the training, they're very inspired, luckily, and then they go back to their performance mode and it's very, very easy to forget. So I think from time to time, making some reminders, having some masterminds and encourage people to refresh this knowledge. And it was working well. Huh?
Thank you.
Okay, something I need to leave. Good. Have to drop. Cool. Good. Any other questions, guys? Maybe you would like to share your tools that you are using in the organization to be very close to the business.
Maybe I can add one thing.
Sure.
So it's not directly related to business because my past job was working in a NGO multi-stakeholder organization to drive industry change of waste management practices. So in one of the projects that were implemented with the German Development Agency in Ethiopia, we did the whole need assessment of the factory, similar approach that you mentioned. And yeah, we also did personally did a 6-monthly, end of program checkup with the factory and see what they've learned and how to implement it. And I thought it was quite a neat way to do it. However, if we take a step back and say, well, how does the industry change in general, beyond the project, because it was engaged in the worldwide textile industry, I find it very, very difficult because there are so many factors and variables, behind it, that making that measurement or impact assessment quite difficult. But yet, the brands would say, which are basically the contributor to your program, and they would say, yeah, we spent X million euros for the membership for the past many years. Well, what impacts have you created? And for me, it's quite a difficult question to address.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite challenging. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Any other comments, feelings, protests?
I think, Anna, it's maybe we have a quick minute for the final one, final question from Pneves. Go ahead.
Yes, Paula, I'm sorry. Just another quick question. You said I know that there's the recording of this session, which I find it very valuable. This was a great session. Thank you. The question is, where can I access, if possible, the recording so I can review and go back, because there's a lot of information. And also you said you were going to share the presentation. So those two resources, where can I find them, if possible?
Valeria sent some link, and also feel free to reach me in LinkedIn if you would like to go further. I'm very happy to speak. Huh?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think that's a great way to wrap up. Thank you for checking. Indeed, in the chat, I just shared 3 resources. One is Notion L&D Shakers page. Second one is our YouTube channel, where you will find all previous recorded sessions, including this one, which will be added shortly. And also the personal LinkedIn page of Anna, if you would like to connect after the session. Anna, from on behalf of the L&D Shakers and from myself, big kudos to you for bringing your experience, your knowledge to this session today. I think the goal was achieved. Everyone found and heard something useful for them.
Thanks a lot for your generous attention, guys. It was a pleasure.